of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hey, happy Friday. How are you doing? Hopefully everyone's talking to you nicely. No Tottenham this weekend. Very upsetting, I might say, for a few reasons other than I'm just addicted to some Ainge ball and I need me that Ainge ball. But how are you doing? I hope you are too blessed to be stressed, as am I. There's already 64 people in the house tapped in live as we speak. Make sure you are saying hello. You can also hit a like, hit a subscribe, vote in the poll. Those are free things you can do to help. I said free, not three, but it is 3 free things that you can do to help the channel grow if you so choose. But hey, everything's optional. But also big up to all the YouTube chat members and all the people who financially help support this channel. But look, I know the thumbnail looks a little, you're like, Jacob, what is this? Antonio Nusa? What are we talking about here? I'm here to tell you right now, we've been talking about this kid since the summer. If you've been here on United Spurs of America, we were linked with him in the summer. I started keeping tabs on him. It was about 2 weeks ago. I started floating his name around out there. Whenever we were talking about getting the Dragusin deal done, the Draguski deal, when we were talking about getting that done, I also said, hey, we should keep looking at this kid. He's been playing pretty well because I keep an eye on him, see what he's doing with the numbers. I did actually tune in. It was funny. We did a stream, right? Everyone who was here, we did a stream, and I was talking about his team was going against Gift Orban's team, and I was talking about how we were linked about both of them and what I kind of saw from the two. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden, we have the likes of, oh, why did that do that? I'm so sorry about that. What kind of production value we running here? But we started talking about that. Then what? 2 days later, it's officially confirmed by Fabrizio that Tottenham are in talks with Club Brugge for Antonio Nusa. There's no formal bid yet, but the deal is on. The deal is on. I like them. You know, it's not the 3 words that we need, which is the here we go, but it is a deal on. But deal on. I guess that's kind of like 3 words. Excuse me 1 second. I need to blow my nose. How rude of me. But big up everybody in the chat. Before we keep talking about Antonio Nusa, let's get talking about who's here and saying hello. See, already 70 people tapped in across all 3 platforms. So big up to everyone, whatever platform you are watching on. But look, let me say hello. Archibald, you get the first place prize today. How are you doing? Potatoes here. First YouTube chat member, second comment, but that's okay. I see Derek Smith. Rowan Kumar's here. Big up Rowan Kumar. Nusa. Why loan him back? Would love to see him already on our wing. I think it's a matter of, at least per what everyone's reporting. Again, when I say things on here, it's not as though I have some kind of direct communication with Antonio Nusa, Perisic, Club Brugge, or Tottenham for any matter, but I do keep my ears to the ground. And these are just the things that I see on the Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. I try and listen to as many different channels as I can, but it's gotten to a point where it's like, you know, we wrote the note. Do you like me? He said, he checked the box. Yes. Yes, I do, Spurs. But you must wait because I want to finish what I'm doing here. Look, I think he's, I admire a kid that's like, I want to finish what I started with this club because, I mean, when at the beginning of a season, you got to imagine mentally you're getting yourself in the headspace of like, all right, what can I accomplish with this club? What can I accomplish with these teammates, this manager? And then you go out and you try to do that. Now he's 6 months into that thing he set out to do. So to me, I can see it from his personal perspective, where it's like, hey, I want to finish what I started, which is hopefully, you know, they're trying to accomplish. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. I'm not a Belgium league watcher of frequently. Like I said, I've paid attention to Gift Orban. Again, whenever they were in the Conference League, and then now, since we've been linked with Antonio Nusa, keep up with Club Brugge. Also, there was a Canadian guy that just signed for Inter Milan, who was also at Club Brugge, Tejan Buchanan. So a couple of reasons. There's some talented children coming through the Belgium area. So I say children lightly. It's just because I feel old. But big up Ash P. Big up Spurs GCTV in the house. Says, good evening, Jacob. How are you doing, Spurs GCTV? Chris Peters is here. Says, hi, Jacob. Much love to you and your family. Big up Chris Peters. Much love to you and your family, sir. Hope y'all are keeping well. Hope 2024 is blessing you with nothing but love. Drula, same thing to you. Part of the Queen Ellie, shall I say, family. Big up to you. Hope you're doing well. Big up Chris Agambar. Hope you're doing good. Says big up Jacob and all in the chat. Chris Peters says it's a good deal if we get it done. He's a step above Johnson. Loaning back gives him 6 more months of gameplay before integrating him with Ainge Ball over the summer. I understand both sides of the argument where you kind of want to say, I would like this asset now. Give me the toy now so I can play. But, you know, it's I would like it as well that we would get him now. But as far as the whole, buying and loaning him back thing, we're 2 or 3 right now. And I am going to classify Brian Hill as part of that because Brian Hill was... we did not directly like this, but we have kind of done that similarly. But yeah, I would like to see him now. Unfortunately, I don't think that'll be the case. Looks like we're going to loan him back. Big up Mark Cook. How are you doing? Big up Jacob in the chat. Big up Mark Cook. How are you? David Shears here says, huge good day from down under, you Butte Cobbers. Big up David Shear, another big supporter of the channel. All the supporters here tapping in on a Friday. I hope you're kicking off your weekend in the most appropriate manner. I guess for those of you down under like David Shear, you would be already in knuckles deep into your weekend, so to speak. So hopefully a good knuckles deep. That's a weird fucking segue. Why did I say that? Ash, I've been trying to get Ash on the show. I see Ash is in the chat. If she's in the chat, she could join the show. Let's see if Ash wants to join the show. Where is she? Boom, there she go. There you go, Ash. Let me know if you want to join the show. Let's see what she's saying about Antonio Nusa. Hashtag Ash N from Spurs GCTV. Love to see it. Kois, a friend of mine has played on the same team as Nusa. Oh, really? Oh, really? You got any inside info? What does your friend say? Kois, with a white heart. Good day to Rin. Hello. Happy Saturday to Rin. Every single time. Hope you're too blessed to be stressed. Who else is here? Donovan. Hello, Donovan. What you doing, my friend? Daniel saying Hoon Lee. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen this name in the chat. How you doing, Daniel? Good to see you. The stash is slowly coming back, y'all. I know it's taken, how many days is it? 19 days. This is 19 days of growth, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty sad. My brother, my oldest brother, he can, his facial hair, he grows it back. Like, he'll shave, and then by the end of the day, he's already got a 5 o'clock shadow. I've shaved my chin and, like, my cheeks a couple times, but this is 19 days of growth. It's kind of not great. But pick up Spurs GCTV, David Shear, Derek Smith. Good things come to those who wait. Good evening, Jacob. Good evening to you, Derek Smith. Losange. That's, I feel like I'm messing it up, but hey, how you doing? Good evening, Jacob in chat. My favorite Yank after my brother-in-law. Big up Lozange. Laws for Ainge. Lows for Ainge. Like you get low for Ainge. What are we talking about here? Big up. But big up. Is it like a lozenge? Like one of those lozenges, like nicotine lozenges? I used to do those when I was on the nicotine. Yanis Rubilis. Big up, y'all. How are you doing? Yanis Side Dances here. Hopefully you're dancing the evening away. You said good evening, so I'm going to say hopefully you're dancing the evening away, Sidanza. Alaskan Hotspur's here, still here after the quake about an hour ago. Big up, Jacob, the Alaskan Hotspur. Is that you? I believe you changed your name, my friend. The furthest north Tottenham Hotspur fan that I know. Hopefully you're safe, my friend. Earthquake sounds kind of crazy, but I don't know what Alaska sounds like. Another. May as well be Antarctica. Tune in and hit the like button. There you go. There's a friendly reminder. Go and hit that like button. Gio Reyes here. How you doing, Gio Reyes? Toxic Headshot. I'm good. I hope you are too. Alfie Divine. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, yes. Let's go in Jack in the Box. Well, hello, Mark Swift. How you doing? Ben Williams is here. Evening, Jacob. Hope you're good. This winter break is already dragging. They say winter break. I say winter breaks my heart because we just need to get back to the ball playing. Giuseppe's here. Big up, Giuseppe. My Northeast brethren. How you doing? Husa. Yeah, Antonio who? We'll find out. Gift Orban signed for Lyon 13 million euros today. Yes, he did. I got the update yesterday on SofaScore that he was officially transferred. Officially. Big up, talking beer. Hopefully you're talking nicely tonight. He's a baller. The new Neymar. Whoa. The new Neymar. I mean, I'm not going to be mad about it, but like...
You must have had a great view of that.
Wow, unbelievable from the back. Yeah.
Unbelievable from the back every single time. Jacob, possible new section for your show, Chewy's thought of the day. Chewy, do you have a thought? He probably has about 4 to 5 thoughts throughout the day, if I'm honest. But Chewy, you got any thoughts for the people? Well, he's stretching. Chewy, you want... I need to get that Chewy cam rolling. I said I would do that. That is my goal of 2024, that I will have a successful Chewy cam going. That'll be kind of nice. Y'all talking about mustaches there. Dry Roast Peanut, how you doing? Love the way the club are moving. It's great to see. It's always great to see when there's some progress in some direction, and some philosophy, and some kind of ethos. It's nice to see. Big up Hugo. Nice to see as well. How you doing? Graham is here. Big up, Graham. Ren says, fun fact, shaving exfoliates and is the reason men often have facial skin that's less damaged than women. Well, there you go. Keep my face nice and young looking, I suppose. Daniel says the Nusa kid is quick and drives hard to the goal. Yeah, I was, like I said, I was live on air. A couple days ago, we were talking about Nusa, and I said I watched him versus Ghent, and I said that when he has the ball at his feet, he's not afraid to go at a player, cut inside, and it almost looked like he just kind of glide with the ball. It's very, very nice to see. Now, you look at some of these highlight reels, like obviously the mixtapes been going around on Twitter. The mixtapes, the 3-minute mixtapes, I love them because they're always going to make a player look whatever the argument may be. But what I would say is, there's certain things within that you can watch, and it's like, regardless of whoever edited it for their narrative, you can't take away some of the things that he did in that. The only thing you could really, I guess, to like try and play devil's advocate would be to say, oh, well, it's against so-and-so in this competition, so it's not as highfalutin. Is that a good word for that? I don't know. But big up Daniel. Good to see you in the house. Todd Spars as well. Says, hi, Jacob. We loaned Sar and Udogi back to the clubs we got them from to keep playing and progress, and only 18, so should be a number. That is another good point. I did see someone tweet this, and I think I bookmarked it. We'll find out if I got it somewhere saved. But Tospers, I do remember seeing this, and it said that if we get it done in January as opposed to in the summer, that then technically he would count as a homegrown when he's 21. So ain't that pretty sweet? Kind of exactly how we did with Papa Matasar, which is why he's going to count as a homegrown next season. And I love to see that. That's cheeky business, smart business. And you know what? If they're a hell of a player, that homegrown is only going to, if we do try and, someone tries to sweep in, hey, you want them and you're trying to buy them in the English Premier League, you're going to have to pay surplus lots of money. But yeah, it's a good bit of business. I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset about the whole buy and loan back thing. There's probably some kind of catchy word we could come up with, or phrase, or acronym of some kind. We'll work on that. Yes, Machiavelli, how you doing? Big up. Says, I'm behind the wheel, mate. Give us good news. Hey, I got good news. It's happening. My inside sources say it's happening. And if you were listening 10 minutes ago, I said I have 0 inside sources. So 5.4 quake, 25 miles from Fairbanks. Wow. Hope y'all okay out there, the Alaskan Hotspur. Hope y'all keeping well. Stay safe. Stay bundled up. Keep a backup generator. Make sure you're stocked up on all the things. I don't know. It sounds Scary, crazy. Big up Paul Brown. Evening, Jacob and guests and all in the chat. Like, share, and subscribe as always. Big up Paul Brown. Always telling everyone to hit up them likes. I do appreciate that. Big up Colin with Talking Ball. Always good to see you. Talking Beers, always talking nicely, and ain't that something to see. His message with that stretching was to be too blessed to be stressed. Is that right, Chewy? Well, he's asleep now, so I'd be an asshole if I woke him up. Now, Future Music, how you doing? Says, hey, Jacob and everyone. The cello always looks like it's got something profound to say, but it never gets the chance. Big up the cello. It is my wife's cello, so she does work her magic with that thing. She does. Let's see what's going on here. A Nusa Ugodi combo down the left-hand side would be mouth-watering. I know you said right-hand side, but I know you meant left. I will tell you this right now. Think about that for the next 7 years. Oh my. Minimum. I mean, in 7 years, Nusa will be 25, 26. Udogi will be 27, 28. Hey. Big up Hypenoise. Grabbing the YouTube membership. How are you doing? Big up to you, Hypenoise. Welcome to the Lover's Lane, my friend. And I just saw there's over 105 people in the house all across all three platforms. Big up, first of all. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. And then secondly, let's see how we're doing on the likes and how is the poll looking. What is everyone's answers to the question? The question today, what do you think of the rumored Nusa deal? Oh, hey-ho. Let me get to that in a second. Big up Chang, my buddy Chang, gifting 5 memberships to United Spurs of America. Big up Chang, always blessing the chat. Look at this guy, like a Santa Claus from across the world, just sprinkling joy and love. Big up Chang. Dubs in the chat for Chang every single time. Here's some lasers for Chang. Can I get the lasers going? Woohoo! Oh, what is that? That's not lasers. Whoa. This is supposed to be the lasers. I don't know why it's not lasers, but that's kind of weird. Is this one lasers? Did they change it? I don't know. Well, either way, big up Chang. Dubs in the chat for Chang. Big up to you. I appreciate you gifting 5 United Spurs of America memberships. Let's see who got those memberships real quick. Oh, my goodness. My brother's in the chat. My biological brother, Jeremy Walraven, is in the chat. Wow. What a blessing. What a nice little blessing. Speaking of blessings, I have a guest not making her debut on the channel. It would be her second time, but I would say her debut on an Untitled Series episode. So let's go ahead. Let's welcome on the one and only Ash P. How you doing, Ash?
I'm all right. Can't complain. I mean, there's no Spurs this weekend, but everything else is coming up all right. So,
well, maybe you'll give our guys a week to breathe. You know, I would prefer maybe the sense of, since these players are missing, that it could be actually a good thing that we aren't playing as many games as possible. Because if we were playing, you know, kind of how we were doing there at the tail end of December, where it was a match two matches every 11 days, 14 days, something like that, then honestly, I would say that this is all right. You know, I don't want to play too many matches without Sun, without SAR, so I feel like that's okay. But outside of Spurs, I hope everything is well with you. What time is it in India right now?
it's crazy early. It's like 5 a.m. I just have insomnia. I deal with it by watching you. So,
well, hey, 5 a.m. Big up. You're staying up real late. Real quick, let me get this out of the way. Thank you so much. A ball bean counter. No, I'm not drunk. I do not drink, my friend. Let me make sure I'm caught up on the chat. Look, my brother's here. I think this is the first time that my brother has appeared in the chat. It says, I see Tottenham is in top 4. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Adversities, road bumps, speed bumps, and maybe some self-inflicted, some beyond our control, I would say as well. Those would be the first couple of reasons why I would say. What about you, Ash? What if someone asked, I see Tottenham is in top 4, what happened? What would you say? Your synopsis of how things have transpired for us.
hey, it's not a January top four. It's an end of Premier League top four, and you're gonna see us there. You're gonna see us there at the end of the Premier League. So who cares? Who cares what happens in January? Honestly.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And you know what they told us when it was my birthday, November 1st, and they said, we don't look at the table in November. We don't look at the table before March, before April. So if that's the case, then you know what? I'll say that's what happened. I do got a super chat here from RX Beats. Want to get to it. Says, what do you think of Rowe or Højbjerg Jr. swap? I think the latter they're referring to Junior Illing Jr. from Juve. He's a winger as well. I don't know as much about him. I actually haven't seen him play very much. Anytime I see Juve play, I don't see him in the squad in any capacity. But I don't know. I mean, Højbjerg for Junior, that doesn't really solve the problem of like a Højbjerg replacement if we did let Junior go. But we did speak extensively about Rowe, and I wish. It's very unfortunate that on YouTube you can't play game footage, or else I would love to show some of the things that I've been seeing of this kid Rowe from Norwich. They have him listed as a central midfielder, but all the highlights and of all the heat maps when we were looking at it on the show a couple days ago, he's kind of all over the place. Have you seen anything on Twitter about this kid Jonathan Rowe?
I've seen a few comps videos. I can't say I follow Norwich that closely, but I have seen a few comps videos, and he looks really promising, and he's very, very young. So I love the fact that all the profile players that we're looking at, Illing Jr., Rowe, Nusa, they're all like in that same age bracket. I love that new sort of recruitment strategy, because I do think that the style we play is just suited to a younger man's game. So I think that the profile kind of fits. I would honestly, I would like to see. He does look a bit in terms of how he plays like Donnelly, in the sense that um, he's all over the place. He doesn't have a set position. He moves into space. But I do think he might be slightly further along in his development. So because he's playing senior football, so I do think that it'd be nice for them to sort of work off each other and learn together. If for ex- if he comes to India, I'm saying. Sorry, I was reading Indian Scouser's comment. If he comes to
Oh, big
Spurs,
up Indian Scouser. I see you. Liverpool fan. Everywhere I go, there's people that tease. How big is our contingent in India? Are we pretty big? Because people say, oh, there's no Spurs fans in India. That's what I've heard from banter like Indian Gooner, Indian Scouser, that I've seen in various chats when I go. Ash, if you've seen me in any capacity, you know I'm always going to go banging my chest about Tottenham Hotspur, about Kangaroo FC. It's kind of that's just kind of the guy I am. But they always say, oh, you're not that big, and I like to boast, in America there's not another club in the English Premier League that has more supporters groups than Tottenham Hotspur. What is it like in India as far as your exposure? Is there a lot of Tottenham fans? Is it primarily Liverpool fans? What are we thinking?
so yeah, like the older Indian fans, especially, are mostly like United, Liverpool. There are some Chelsea and Arsenal around, but you the newer fans, like you'll see a lot of kids who started supporting Spurs because they don't know, like they're not into like the whole history of Manchester United or some shit like that. So they're kind of like, uh, and it's kind of become like hipster to support Spurs, which I don't mind honestly, because I have a lot of students who I can convert then because I teach.
There you
So
go.
all of my
There you
students,
go. Get
they
in.
know they get extra credit for being Spurs fans, and they don't really.
Well, I'm going to tell them that they do. And if they happen to watch the channel, which I hope they're not, because I don't say things the most elegantly. I don't, I probably shouldn't admit that as the caregiver of my son, but you know what? I am who I am. But big up Chris Pistol as well with another super chat in here. Says, Ash, you're so cute and unique. Never seen a Spurs fan outside the UK. There's a lot. Hey, I'm a Spurs fan in America. And then Paul Hotspur Hippie, he's an Australian. We got this. It's really becoming the global Spurs, United Spurs of the world. I would say, because we've got so many people that tune in from all over the world, South Africa, Asia, like Chang is out there in Asia. We have fans in Singapore, Malaysia, like all these different places. So, you know what? Tottenham Hotspur are absolutely massive. When people go around, there's even Spurs fans that like to shit on our own club and be like, we're not that big of a club, but then they expect us to go and sign these big marquee names. And it's like, if we're not a big club, surely, but don't call me Shirley, we're not going to sign these big marquee names. But then you're upset when we do Jurgusen, we do a Brendan Johnson type deal. It's like, oh, well, you didn't go and get the best. Well, how could we get the best if we're not this big club? People want it both ways, but big up Chris Pistol for the super chat. Appreciate your monetary support to the channel. But what do you think about that, Ash? You know, and when people say we're not big, I mean, I'm in America, you're in India, both full of millions and millions of people, and we are still Tottenham Hotspur supporters, regardless of what people want to equate success to or not. What's your take as a foreign fan as well?
You know, honestly, I think to be a foreign fan, like, we didn't inherit this team, we actually chose it. So I think that in some ways that makes us really, like, that makes us even more like invested in the club sometimes, because like, it's not something we had to do. We could have chosen any team on the planet, and we chose Spurs. And I do think that like, if you look at, like, Spurs, it's this in the top 6 most successful clubs in England. So we are a massive club. Like, no matter what anybody says, I know they'll be like, "Oh, you won a double in the 60s." But whatever, I don't care what era it was.
We
in.
did, though. Don't take that away from us. You can't erase history. We've been around. It's not our fault. We've been around for damn 200 years. You know. I know it's a little less than that, but there's history there, and I would be upset if we just forgot. You know, things that happened to me when I was 1 or 10 years old, they're still relevant in terms of milestones in my life. So they can hold that. But big up, Chris Pistol says, Arsenal fan here. I'm just trolling. Big up, y'all. Oh, so he's taking the mick out of us while also supporting. And look, I do appreciate everyone who is here. There's over 150 people tapped in through all 3 platforms. So big up. Whatever you're on, make sure you're following, liking, subscribing, all that fun stuff. Those are free things to do. I'm going to go to the poll real quick because there is over 150 people here, but I haven't seen the poll hit over 100 votes, but we're at 85 votes and 73 likes. So the like and vote ratio ain't bad, I'll be honest. But the polls are saying to me 45% to the question, what do you think about the rumored Nusa deal? 45%. Antonio Nusa. I've never heard of him. I thought that was quite clever of me, so I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. And then 35% says watched him since summer and I like him. I can't say watched him like exclusively since the summer, but every time I've watched him since we were linked with him in the summer, I've absolutely adored what I saw, and I think that there's quite a young talent there. 15% says love the prospect but not the deal, and 4% says I don't like the deal or the player. And you know what? There they are. That's the results. So keep getting your opinions heard in the chat. My brother here, Jeremy, says, football season is over, Jacob. The cycle continues for your one true team. You can't deny your roots. He's talking about the Dallas Cowboys. He's talking about the Dallas Cowboys because we lost in the playoffs. The first game in the playoffs just absolutely dominate. And you know, it's funny. I always like to draw the correlations between Dallas Cowboys and Tottenham Hotspur. Both have rich history, but not recent. Like, it's 30 years since Cowboys were relevant, and some would say it's somewhat similar for Tottenham. But you know what? For Cowboys, there's always next year, right? Next year's our year is what they always say. Big up. My brother's in the house. What a delightful little treat. Speaking of delightful little treat, Talking Ball call with a $2 super chat says Talking Ball is taking over. Show tomorrow, 9 p.m. G-Mint. 9 p.m. G-Mint, you can catch a Talking Ball show. Ash, do you want to, real quick, do you want to go ahead and plug any shows you got coming up? I know you're quite busy over there on Talking Ball as well. So do you have anything you want to plug for us?
Well, Talking Ball has this show coming up, which is basically ranking the best Spurs 11. So they've got like a bunch of like really, really old Spurs fans doing that. But I do actually a Hindi talk and ball show called White Chart Lane, where we sort of like have Indian fans on. We discuss stuff in Hindi. Some of it is in English, so some of it filters through. But enough people turn up that we can do it in Hindi as well. So it's fun to do
There
it in
are
different
some times
languages.
I've woken up at like 4 a.m. my time, and you were live with someone I've never seen, and I tuned in, and I was like, am I tired, or are they speaking a language that I've never heard before? So I was like, what? Like, what did Ash say about Kulusevski? I was like, oh, okay, they're definitely speaking another language. So that was quite fun. But big up Talking Ball, appreciate the super chat, my friend. And you can catch. Are you going to be on the show tomorrow? The ranking Tottenham's best
No, I'm not
11.
old enough, apparently.
Well, sometimes they do be showing photos of people, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, but there we are.
Yeah.
Sophia's football talk. Also, another Saskatchewan? No, what is it what do they call like like Kulusevski, Norway and Sweden, Scandinavian. I think that's
Scandinavian?
what it is. Yeah, that's
Jacob, you
it,
have
right?
Kuba on literally every 2 days.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have to
We
know
miss Kuva.
Scandinavian.
See, that's why I don't know, because I miss Kuva. He's moving, so congrats to Kuva. He's
Yeah.
moving to a new house, and he said he doesn't have internet, so he can't join. But big up Kuva. It's Scandinavian, right? Did I say Saskatchewan? That's not right. Scandinavian. Big up Sophia. I know you're Scandinavian as well. Sophia, you got any inside info on Antonio Nusa? Now, I know he was pretty impressive the last time, but Norway did fail to qualify for the Euros, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I think they did.
Yeah, I think
I don't
so.
know. Because it was Erling Haaland and Odegaard, and they were like, oh, they didn't. Yes, I am a Spurs and a Cowboys fan. It is pain. It is pain over here, but we move. We move. I wasn't a fan for a while, and I haven't been. I don't emotionally get involved with Dallas Cowboys, especially because Mike McCarthy. I call him Mike McFarty. He's a laughable human as a manager. So until they get rid of him, it is what it is. Jacob seems to love the pain. That's coming from my brother. I'm getting roasted
But
by my brother.
that's what sports is about. Sports is about the drama and the romance and the story. It's not about Man City winning the league every year because they just inject so much money into it. It's about it's about human emotion. And you can only feel like the day Spurs win a trophy, that will mean so much more to us than it would mean for a Man City fan. Like I'd like to win all the time, yeah. But like the story there is way more amazing, like especially if Ange does it, because he's come from like the snobby European people, he's come out of nowhere and he's sort of like taken the Premier League by storm. So if we win something with Ange, that'll be just like the pinnacle of sporting success. I mean, who watches the Champions League to know, oh, Man City won, but if the year Porto won, everyone was watching. That's the romance of football.
I like that. Very, very well put there, Ash. I do like that. Sophia here. I did drop Sophia the link. It was quite random. I saw someone like get Sophia and Ash on a show. You know what? Why not? Let's see if we can make it happen. But Sophia comes in here saying Nusa got his debut during the fall, been looking very good. Mostly playing on the left, but can play on the right as well. Now I do have a quite extensive thread that I found on Twitter in regards to our man Antonio Nusa. It's not that tab. It is this tab. So I do want to go through this at some point. Now, Ash, I don't know how much time you have. Are you good to just hit me in the
Yeah, it's
private chat
5
when you got a
a.m.
little
We can
5
do
minute?
anything else.
I don't know if you got school to teach tomorrow or something, but big up everybody in the chat. I see everyone here, including my brother. What a delightful little treat that was. Jacob, so you do swish past banter though? No, I was just trying to get to the bottom of the chat because I got, a lot of y'all in the house. So where you are, thank you, Chris Peters. I appreciate that. Got a question from Joe Leon. Says, Ash, when is it acceptable to demand your club to win a trophy? This is an Arsenal
I think
fan.
always.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's always. I mean, I start every season with the hope that we win something. We go on a cup run. We do something. And I think that optimism sort of keeps me going as well. As fans, that's what we always want, right? Everyone thinks that we can maybe beat City and have an FA Cup run. Uh, but all the pundits will tell you that City, will decimate us and destroy us and all these sort of things, even though we're their bogey team. So I think that every year you demand a trophy from your club, and I think that we've been doing that. We've been pushing Levy. That's why we see this turn, like we see this change in Spurs, because the last couple of years have been so bad for us, and fans have been like, no more. So he recognizes that. He sees it in the stadium. He sees it on social media. He's not like, they're not dumb. So I think every year you demand a trophy from your club, but every team does that, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, especially for a club like Spurs.
If Joe Leone, while I have you here, if I could encapsulate how I feel about the FA Cup, it would be in this short little clip.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
That shit means something to me, man. So look, I demand we win a trophy every single year. But again, if I'm a little kid screaming at an empty food cabinet about the snacks that I want, snacks aren't there. And at the end of the day, I have to learn to accept the reality of the situation that I'm in. Now, again, this is a guy who, does believe that for some reason or not, I have some kind of say in what Tottenham does. I got trolled by Arsenal fans, Ash, because apparently my demands weren't high enough for them to respect. And they like to say, oh, you're celebrating extending Destiny Udogi's contract. And it's like, well, yes, I do. I like to celebrate the good things that come to my club. Now, again, these are the things that I'm hoping amalgamate to some kind of success. But at the end of the day, that's going to be what it's going to be, right? I don't have control over what my club does, who they sign, how we play, and the end result. I have no say in that. I am merely an observer. But there we are. Look.
Yeah. What do the Arsenal fans know? They haven't had a transfer all of January, and then Arteta says, "I'm happy with all my players." So like, long may he stay at Arsenal. We must convince them that he is a genius and that he's just not recognized by everyone else, simply so that he stays for his entire lifetime. Stay as long as Wenger.
Yeah, Arteta in is what I say.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace.
Big up Chris Peters, putting Sophia's channel link in the chat there. Make sure you are subscribed to Sophia's Football Talk. Great channel over there. Got a lot of streams. She's doing a lot of stuff there for AFCON as well. Make sure you support all the good people who create content. I would never support anybody that is not a good person first and foremost. So such a good person. So make sure you are subscribed. Appreciate Chris Peters for that. Big up Bob Down Under. How you doing, my friend? Get that meat out of your mouth, Arteta. Look, do as you please. Just don't have your wife film the video. That's what I say. Don't post it. You don't have to post it. Keep that for you and your wife if you want to record that kind of video. No shame, But just don't make your kids sprinkle salt on the meat as well. That was it was a family affair. And then the hand grabbing, just kind of really strange activity. But let me ask you, Ash, since we're on the subject of Arsenal real quick. Let's just talk about Arsenal for a second. This wasn't planned or expected, but do you think that they have a legitimate chance at contending for the title this year? Do you think that rival fans are getting a little too ahead of themselves? Like me, I said that I think they're fraudulent and they're not in it. They've never been in it. They're just kind of acting like they are. And if they are in it, then we are very much in it, is kind of my perspective. But maybe that's super biased of me. Ash, where do you kind of stand? Do you see Arsenal as fraudulent people with a fraudulent manager, and eventually a tower made of toothpicks might come crumbling down?
Honestly, I think they stood a better chance last year. I mean, the year that apparently one injury ruined their entire chances of a Premier League. Big up Scooby, Spooby, everyone. Spoopy. That's how to
Spoopy,
say
grabbing
it.
that Lover's Lane membership. Big up, Spoopsters. Go ahead.
So I just think that, they started this year, and like their midfield, the great midfield with, Declan Rice and Odegaard in it, that midfield just didn't click for them. And I do think that they lack a cutting edge. You think about our goal scorers. Richarlison has more goals than any of their forwards, and half the time Spurs fans are divided over Richarlison. So I'm sorry if that's your Premier League winning side. You really need to be checked into a hospital because you need some help. You know, the
Hold
it's
that.
honestly like I don't understand because can't they see that their football is bad? Like it's boring to watch. Like last year, at least they were interesting to watch. I mean, I was a little jealous of them last year because we had what we had last year. But like right now, I wouldn't trade Ange for the world. Like I look forward to our matches. I think Arsenal fans are just like gritting their teeth through it, being like, oh my god, let's just get the win and get
Last
it
minute
over the
winner
line.
at Luton kind of vibes is what you're saying, Ash?
Yeah, and that Luton game, like it's okay to get a last minute winner. Like in the Sheffield game, we dominated, we got that last minute winner. But at least I was constantly invested. The Luton game was so boring until the last 10 minutes that I could not be even bothered to watch. So that's what Arsenal have going for them. So if they just want to be boring, they're not going to win the Premier League like that.
The
Not
thing
according
is
to me.
that another thing that I want to add, just kind of caveat your points there, Ash, like when Ainge came in, and since the first match that we saw as Spurs fans, West Ham preseason in Singapore, or Australia, we were in Perth, I think it was, and it was a clear difference. Like there was a clear identity and intent and thought process. I mean, we were making mistakes left and right, and we've still continued to this day to make those mistakes left and right. But there's been a clear identity and philosophy as far as the ball play and the tactics and the way that we want the ball. We want to build up how we build up, and eventually we play so open that I think it lends ourselves to being so open in the back that's why we end up lending so many opportunities. But I think about that, and then I think about Arteta and the philosophy. Like he used to play 5 at the back, and then he's kind of changed it, and then he's gone back to something else. And like last year's Arsenal looks different than this year's Arsenal. And so to me, I'm just like, if it almost worked and you almost got there, and then you buy these $170 million on 2 different players, surely just do what you're doing and implement them, then you could get over the line. But that seems to be not the case as of yet. But I do want to caveat that by saying maybe I'm just a little premature in the way that I see it as far as like their downfall. Maybe I think it's come too soon. If they win tomorrow, they play Crystal Palace at 5:30 a.m. my time. So if they win that, then they're back up in there. They're 3 points ahead of us, yada, yada. But at this juncture, we're even on points, and they have a game in hand. So 7 months, 85 million into a project, 4 years, 700 million into their project. That lends me to believe we're not doing too bad, right, Ash? We're not, I know I was talking about Arsenal and like their title chances, but at this end of the day, like we can only base ourselves off of our competition. And so I want to real quick, I need to mud a couple of people, which is TJ Warren, aka TJ Waffles TV. He's in the mud. Saad from the Football Corner 97, he's in the mud. Okay, because they say, oh, look at little Tottenham. They ain't had no trophy. I was in one of their chats earlier on TJ Warren TV. He did his American Idiots on the Friday show, and I was in there in the chat and just giving them some shit. You know how I like to do. I poke, they may be little tiny bears, and I'm Big Papa Grizzly Bear, but I poke the little bears, see what they're doing. And so I'm giving them a little shit, and they go, hang on, this guy, Spurs fans, they don't ever have any success or trophies. So they go and they try and compare themselves, and it's like, oh, our success is if we finish above Arsenal. And it's not that. It's not just you. It's United who also have to hold that. It's Chelsea who have to hold that right now. And if we keep climbing, it could be Liverpool or City that have to hold that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe that I go with. And, I'm I don't know. I'm kind of rambling here a little bit, but Ash, do you have any thoughts
No,
on?
I mean, I think with Chelsea, I don't even care about them anymore. They're just like a mid-table club. Let's see them. You know, if they get their act together someday. Long may it continue not to happen. But like with the rest of them, I will say that I kind of like that we're. It's not that we're flying under the radar, but everyone is like, oh yeah, we'll challenge for top four, but it's like an outside chance. But actually, if you think about it, until April, our fixtures are kind of like, I won't say easy. I'm not disrespecting any team, but they're winnable. So until April, if we stay in and around, who knows how high we could go. So I honestly see it. I see it as being like a happy day for Spurs. Also, like with Arsenal, if you think about it, the only time they've been successful under Arteta is in the FA Cup when he played five at the back and it was a low block. He was literally
And it was someone
playing
else's
confident.
squad as well. And it was literally someone else's squad too, Ash.
Yeah,
Don't
it was
forget.
someone else's squad. He was playing defensive football, and he's supposed to be the next tactical genius. Really, sticking 10 men behind the ball. When did that become tactical genius? So, I can't. I
And you
can't
know
give
what's
him credit
funny?
for that.
I don't. I give him credit because I guess he's got a photo that he can hang in his
Yeah.
home, and his family can say, "Look at that! Ain't that pretty sweet?" So I give him credit for that much. But I do agree with you in the sense of, um, this guy's brought in to be some kind of next oh, he managed with City under Pep, he's going to be Pep regen, and from the jump he just hasn't really looked like that except for his antics on the touchline.
Yeah.
And it's weird to me because it's just like I don't understand the signings. Let me bring Ten Hag into this as well with Manchester United. In his first season, he got top four and won a cup. So, ball intents purposes, you think, okay, now they're going to surely, but don't call me Shirley, build on this. And I predicted them to, but then they start regressing. So, to me, that leads me into a spot where I'm like, okay, well, what did they do? They brought in a bunch of players from Ajax that Ten Hag used to manage, and then he comes to United and says, oh, I'm not going to play the Ten Hag way. And so the thing that those two things have in common with Ten Hag and with Arteta is that it feels like a complete abandonment of their philosophy. Whereas I feel like Ange Postecoglou came in here and said, you're going to abandon everything and it's my way, and that's the way it is. And honestly, I like that. I like that a lot because it makes me feel good that in the first 7 months of this man's tenure, he can completely revitalize the way the fans feel about their club. If you notice, there aren't any, we won't leave you out, say we won't leave you out. That has died down. It's, where's that energy now? And, to Daniel Levy's credit, I think in the last 6 months he's done, he hasn't done. He has put people in place to do things that we are now enjoying the fruits of, right? Which is Johan Lange, Scott Munn, Fabio Paratici. Those three guys working together. And then Ange Postecoglou is like literally the Postecoglou that puts it all together. So these bits of business to me is like, I'm not saying it's completely like, oh, good job, Levy, right? Good law. I see a few people asking the channel, your channel, Ash, the channel that you were on is in the description of this video. Talking Ball, you can click the description of this video. It's in there. It'll take you straight to it. I see a few of the mods have been putting the channel in there right there. So there's Chris Peters putting them. So that's where you can find some more of Ash. Just so y'all know. I see Jack G here. Do you know what the name of her channel? There it is. You can find it. It is in the description of the video. Ash, what was I? Can you remind me what I was saying? I completely lost my train of thought.
Les Levy out.
Oh yeah, and that he put these people in the positions to start making these choices that are starting to actually look quite good for us. Papa Matisar, Destiny Udogi, Vicario as our backup. Dragusin was an immediate, like in the past we went after a guy and went after him until the very last day of the window, and then we got our backup. To me, we were linked with Jean-Claire Todibo a lot, and then it was like very clear they weren't going to sell him in January and that the price was too high. So what did? We moved to the next option, Draguski. Now we got him in, and boom, he was able to come on the pitch for Manchester United, which is literally what I was begging for January 1st when the window opened. Get me some guys. I need warm bodies for the Manchester United and the Burnley Cup. I needed them, and we didn't have them for the Burnley, which we scooted by, you know. Pedro Porro, shout out Pedro Porro, his right foot. What a guy, what a lad.
You must have had a great view of that.
Wow, unbelievable from the back. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable from the back. He's so right. But big up everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all are hitting the like and keep getting your opinions in the chat and partaking in the poll. I see 128 votes. How many likes are we on? Let's see what the ratio is. Oh, about 20 of y'all have voted but not liked the video, so that's not too bad. Usually it's about 40 of y'all, so that ain't too bad. But if we can get that nice and tight, like Richarlison's conversion rate in the last, 6-7 games, shall we say, Ash? Well, let me ask you, Richarlison, is this a purple patch? Will he regress? Or is it did we fix the broken pigeon and now the pigeon can fly again because of the pubis? Don't forget about the pubis injury, the pubis surgery or whatever it was that he had. Do you think we can get this pigeon flying? Is he flying, or is this just the pigeon will eventually come crashing down because you can't fix what's already broken?
You know, honestly, I was one of those people who, before we signed Richarlison, I didn't want him. I kind of hoped that after the Marseille game, he would come good for us. But I have to say now, you know, this season especially, even when he wasn't scoring and everyone was sort of like going, like everyone was insulting him on YouTube, and, you know, people were calling him the offside Richie and these sort of things. If you look at it, the movement was always there. Like, you shouldn't be scared when a player makes a move but scuffs the chance. You should be scared when the player doesn't make the movement at all, because it means he doesn't understand the system. So the movement was always there. He just came in a little late or a little early. And honestly, the reason for that is that, you know, when you're playing in pain, I think it's just really hard to time these things right. Now that he's gotten his operation, the movement is more on time. He still needs to work on his offside, like his run, timing his runs. But I do think that there's definitely a player in there. So I'd like to give him time. 6 goals in 6 games. You can't argue with that. He's doing his job. That's a striker's job. And also his defensive abilities. I was really surprised how good he is defensively. So I'd give him that as well.
Very good point. I think in the press, he's pretty physical off the ball as well. Big up SP, a new chatter from London, says, first time listener, you know your stuff. And I'm going to say he's telling that to both of us, Ash, so go ahead and pat yourself on the back there. We know what we're talking about. JC's asking, by the way, Jacob, your thoughts on Timo Werner. If you saw the first half of my watch along versus Manchester United, you probably would think that I wanted to strangle the guy. And if he was here in El Paso, Texas, I wouldn't have strangled him necessarily, but I would have grabbed his shirt and I've been like, when you get that ball, will you just run forward with it? Because there was so many times in that first 45, nobody in front of him, Ash, nobody in front. Not even a traffic cone in the way. You don't even have to go around the traffic. Just grab the ball that's at your feet and run straight down the line. Just run parallel with the touch line with the ball at your feet, because the guy's inside waiting for you to cut it in on your right foot. And it was the first 45, I was going to lose my mind because he just kept not attacking the space. But in the second half, he did. In the second half, he started going into those spaces when he had the ball. He did do a kick and run, and I was screaming for it. I would say my thoughts on Timo is he's going to do exactly what we expect him to do, which is frustrate the hell out of us. But if he can get a GA every game, then the 6-month loan is worth it. His wages per week is worth it. If we're able to get some kind of G out of it. I don't need Timo Werner to be perfect. The system doesn't require individual brilliance. We rely on teamwork goals from the backside of the pitch, from the back, left, back, right. It don't matter. Either way, we're going to work it up, switch play, and we're going to create the goals via team. Not Timo Werner picking it up at the halfway line, taking it all the way and having a beautiful assist. And he alluded to the fact that he knows he's here to be an assister, not to be the target goal scorer. So I think even when Son is back, we could see Son through the middle with Timo Werner out left or Richarlison and have like a little bit of a working relationship there where in this game we might need a more physical winger, whereas this one we may need a more pacey winger. And I think that the things I felt like Timo Werner could do well for us, he did do, which was in the second half. First half, I ain't giving him nothing in the first half because those you gotta test the keeper. You have to test the keeper. Oliver Skip is not Iniesta, but he found you. He found you in space.
I was
Beautiful,
very surprised.
perfectly weighted ball.
I had to
Wait,
rewind on that Skip pass because I was just like, "Is that Oliver Skip?" It cannot be Oliver Skip. I couldn't believe it. I had to go back, and I feel like that's what a system does to you, right? It makes better players out of average players, and that's what it's done to Skip, and that's what I think it'll do to Werner as well. Because he just needs to know his role. And his role is to be where Udogie is, which will generally be in front. So Anne should just tell him that if you see Udogie bombing ahead, you do the same. If you have the ball, pass to him ahead, go on the overlap and get a pass in return, cut back or cross it in. It's very simple. Football with Anne just simple. Run into space, get the ball, pass it.
Yeah.
As long as you do that in a system, Werner will also come good. I have a feeling. He probably won't score a lot, but we also forget that Sonny will come back. And when Sonny comes back, it's possible that we'll see Werner off the bench. So as a super sub, I can't think of someone better than Timo Werner. With his pace at the end when everyone's tired.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought with Brendan Johnson too. That maybe as a super sub he would be okay there if we did want to try and force Kulusevski as a winger. But honestly, Kulusevski in the middle I kind of like more. But it'd be nice to see what he could look like if he can come back and help us in some capacity. My brother says I would like to see you do it so he can see what he's supposed to do. He's saying he's calling me out on the pitch that he wants to see me hit him with the Techers. Now, Jeremy, you will remember when you lived in California. One second. Jeremy, you will remember when we were out in California and you said, hey, you want to come play a little pickup game with me and my friends at the park? I said, yes, but don't worry, I ain't going to play goalie today. No, I'm playing Zlatan. And you remember when I hit you with the and I made you ooh, and all your friends were like, oh, he got your ass. How you let your little brother dunk on you like that? I hit him with the ooh-wee, a little bit of that Musa Dembele,
Yeah, Jeremy, you got to hold
that. Hold that, Jeremy. What's up? Hey, here's some lasers. Please be the lasers. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
there
yeah,
we go. Yay, the lasers. I finally got.
If I do it, will it come? No, right?
Do you have a MacBook? Yeah, it's a
I do.
MacBook update. Yeah. See, I can get you some confetti or balloons. I think this one is. Yeah, balloons.
Oh, I gotta figure out how to do that because I have a MacBook. I just now need to figure it out.
It's like the most recent update, and you got balloons, you got confetti, like yay, confetti. You can also do
maybe
hearts.
I just haven't updated my laptop.
Yeah, you just gotta hit an update. See, you can do hearts, and it's all kind of fun. Big up SP says subscribe to the channel. Always love finding out where the new subscribers are from. Big up SP. I see Leo's in the house. Big up Leo from Mile High Hotspur. How you doing? Leo. Richard, how you doing? Richard in the house as well. Derek Smith says I'm in a minority. I like Skip. We were talking about Timo Werner, and I think I got a pretty good answer from you about how you feel about him, and kind of, yeah, I think it's still just, hey, the door's open, my friend. It's up to you to walk on in and make yourself known. But Oliver Skip, for all intents and purposes, probably his best game at Old Trafford since the San Siro in Champions League last year. That's not great, but what do you make of Skip? Is this level too high for? I'm of the mindset that I think what we're trying to do, he's just not good enough for. I love the kid. I love everything he is as a human, but as a footballer, he's not good enough with the ball at his feet. Now, again, Old Trafford, that was again a great performance, but by no means do I see it as him as like a backup either. I think that he could go play for Nottingham Forest and do very well there. I think the running, the physicality, but I just don't think it's all there. What do you think?
He's better suited to maybe like a lower Premier League team or maybe a championship team. Go back to Norwich. You would love there. You did well there. So yeah, I don't see him in the long term. I mean, I love Skip. He's one of our own. but we can't be sentimental. Like it's just it can't happen. We gotta. Sometimes you just have to be cutthroat about these things because it is a competitive sport at the end of the day.
It is. And there's some fireworks for you. Big up Ziad with Ziad Zone. New channel. Always fun talking with him on El Akhwa, and he's on This Is Football a lot. So big up Ziad as well. Jeremy says it's fake news. He knows it's true. I hit him with the ooh-wee. Here's the thing. He didn't expect me to hit him with the little but I did, and I sent him the other way. Now, I'm a goalie. I played goalie my whole life, Ash. So by no means, I always, it would have been nice to be the chunky Zlatan up front, but I was always destined to be a goalkeeper, I suppose, because I played basketball in America. I played all sports, so it's just easier to transition to playing a goalkeeper, I suppose. But when I got out there on the pitch, and I was in the midfield working with the ball, I juked my brother, and he's a midfielder by trade, so that I feel pretty good about it. And it was it has happened only the once in my life, but I have two older brothers, and I've gotten both of them once each, so I feel accomplished in my footy career, I should say. But there it is. Jacob, why can't you do it on clubs, bro? Did you not see last night? I was absolutely cooking on pro clubs, by the way. No one watches the EAFC streams, but those are a lot of fun. We get quite silly. But look at that. Baloo says Skip isn't good enough. I'll send him to his uncle's Kane and Dyer to Bayern. Hey, go to Bayern. Have a little English party over there. That'd be quite nice. Yeah. Joe Leone says 15 years. I love this, Ash, because I guarantee you couldn't ask any Spurs fan, like, hey, do you know the years, days, hours, minutes, and seconds since our last trophy? But don't worry. We've got Arsenal fans who are here to remind us, Ash. We don't need to Google it. Yeah. We don't need to do the countdown. They're here to tell us. He says 15 years, 325 days. It's almost 16 years. 9 hours, 45 minutes, and 16 seconds since your last. He's been counting since we lifted the trophy last. That's quite great.
Yeah, thanks,
the Immaculate Weight.
Nice to
continues.
see you wearing your head. Right, that's where we're at, aren't we? Jolene. How do you pronounce that? Like this.
Joe Leone. I would say Joe Leone.
So they're not like. So you don't even get the nice name like the Dolly Parton song. No songs named after you.
We'll keep crying, Arteta, is what I would say. Look. I was gonna absolutely keep mudding TJ Warren and Saad, but I haven't seen Saad. But if Ziad's here, relay the mess. You know what? I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna wait till I see the football corner in the chat. If I see him, I'm absolutely gonna cook him. So I'm saying, Leo, I've got the handles, but they don't want. They want to deny me. They want to act like it ain't what it is. But look, speaking of what it ain't, what it is. I do have to get to some of these. I love having a guest because I don't have to like sit here and go through my bookmarks and all that stuff. But Ash, while you're here, let's enjoy some of the bookmarks from the day. We are over an hour on the show, so make sure you are hitting a like and subscribe. Talking Ball, the channel where you can find more of Ash, is in the description of this video. So make sure you are subscribed and liked over there. They are almost to 1K, so keep getting those likes and subs up over there as well. Big up Fifth Elemento. I see you in the house. Hello, Fifth Elemento. There's a few things I wanted, and this is kind of random, just a little random segue. Eric Dyer's English is coming along nicely. He's in Bayern and he's been there for just a couple of weeks, but my oh my, his accent. I just want to listen to him for a second. Listen, real quick. So he goes to Bayern, and they're talking about, have you been here before, the stadium and this? He's like, yeah, I was here for the Audi Cup. That's what he was. So he went to Bayern, and he flexed the Audi Cup, and I think that's quite spectacular.
First time here? No.
Here?
I came for the Audi Cup in long time, 2016 maybe, or 2017.
2016 or maybe 2017. This accent, what is it? The German influence? Is it his Portuguese? Is it his Spanish? What accent do you think he's going with here?
I think he's going with pretentious. That's what he's going with.
I don't know why. But anyway, I honestly, I think it's going to be hilarious when him and Harry Kane are holding up a trophy. It's going to be, It's going to be really good for them. It's going to be like when Arteta held up the FA Cup trophies. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Dyer for all his 10 minutes playing for Bayern Munich will hold up that trophy. He doesn't really deserve it. The 10 minutes that he gets in on as a sub in maybe like one, they're out of the cups. So then what can he even play? Where will he play? I mean, I suppose their defenders have gone to the Asian Cup, so maybe he'll see like one half here and there. But for that, he will get his trophy. So well deserved, Dyer. Good on you.
Hey,
But
we all need a
happy
little bit
he's
of a
gone.
pat on the back.
Let him do well.
I'm just, I hope nothing but best, Well, Russian accent, that's what we're saying, Russian accent. It was interesting accent. He gets to Germany and, I know he's going to learn German very quickly. He's astute in that manner. Audi Cup, you'll never sing that. The state of it. The fact that he even brought up, he could have just been like, yeah, we played a preseason match here. Instead, he was like, yeah, it's funny. He's switching to broken English to make it easier to be understood by people who don't speak English as a first language. To be honest, I know what he's doing. Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you go.
Well, that's nice of him, I suppose.
Here we go. Here's a Bayern fan. Says Dyer will be starting for us this Sunday. Ash De Ligt is injured. Right. Kim Min-jae is gone. I think. Who does Upamecano? He plays for France, so he's there. It's gonna be Upamecano and Dyer. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Good luck, my friend. Good luck. Yeah. Big up Adrian Chia with a super chat.
Upamecano, he's been having a slight bad season as well. Like his performance has really dropped in the recent season. So I actually, that's going to be diabolical. It'll be fun to watch.
There was another video that came out today that was like, do you have any nicknames, Eric Dyer? Like, what do they call you? And he said, they call me the Viking.
Wait, who calls him the what?
Eric Dyer said that his nickname is the Viking or just Eric.
No, so there's Eric the there's Eric the Viking, but that's not Dyer.
I was really thinking, like, even when he had that one decent season, let's say the 1 out of the 9 decent season, 1 out of the 9.5, we shall not forget that 9.5. I don't remember calling him the Viking then either. I don't remember ever calling him the Viking.
Yeah.
I feel like Højbjerg came in and even our social admin called Højbjerg the Viking. Never Eric the Viking.
I've heard Pierre called the Viking, but I've never heard Dyer being called the Viking.
Yeah, it's the only one I could think of. But you know what? Hey, whatever you want to get called, my guy, I hope they call you that.
Yeah.
Just don't call me.
It's like the kid who wants a nickname so bad he makes one up and then pretends that other people call him that. Other people.
They call me man too strong, but you can call me whatever you like. They call me the handsomest man in the West. No one calls me the most handsome man in the West. But you know what? That's kind of fun. So go on, keep, whatever you want to call yourself, I suppose. I hope that Eric is a waffler, says Spurs King. There it is. Big up Amir. I see Amir, Jammy Git, TJ Waffles TV, Hi, Daniel Field. How are y'all doing? Big up everybody in the house. Richie B says, I'm so tired of roasting Dyer. He's gone. Get over it. Well, yeah. We shall never forget, like a relationship that maybe you were in for just a little too long. How could we forget so soon where we come from? But speaking of forgetting so soon, Ivan Perisic is officially off to HAJDUK Split. It's been long rumored since the start of the window that they wanted to get him. He's obviously not even fit, but they still wanted to get him through the door. Ash, do you have a favorite Ivan Perisic moment in a Tottenham shirt?
I don't know. He's sent a couple of really good crosses. I mean, nothing comes to mind as such. I mean, let me think. There have been a few last season. I can't think of any, honestly.
Mine, I'll tell you mine. We were losing 3-0 at the time to Liverpool. And
Oh, I
on the
heard of
left-hand side, it was a foot race between him and Virgil van Guyer is what they called him on the... I don't know what the broadcast was, but he absolutely took the man's ankles and knees in that moment, juked him, kind of like I did my brother there that day at the park. Juked him, sent him the other way, put in a beautiful cross, and then Harry Kane finished it off with a very... What he makes look so fucking simple. I sometimes go back to some of those Harry Kane highlights. I'm like, God,
Yeah.
he just made it look so easy. He really spoiled me when it came to some of those finishes because it was just like, yeah, wow, so nice. But my favorite Ivan Perisic moment was when he took the life out of Virgil van Maguire. I think that was like Virgil van Maguire. It was very nice. I love that. So he gave us that moment, and we'll forever have that. But outside of that,
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
that's
he's just class. I didn't like that we bought him originally. If you remember, we bought him as a fullback because for a minute he sort of switched back to a defensive line, and in Italy he was playing as a fullback. So we actually bought him as a left fullback, like a left back. But then I'm so happy that we moved him ahead because that's his natural role. He's a winger. He's not the best defender. Oh, I do have a favorite moment. There was this one defensive header he did, right to the goalkeeper. I think it was what game was it? I can't quite remember the game because last season is a blur in my head. But I actually like the guts he had to like head a ball right into the goalkeeper's hands. I thought that was like it would have looked scary from everyone else, but like the Udogi one in the Manchester United game, but he had like control on the ball. He knew exactly where it was going. So that was an amazing moment for me. Like I know it's a defensive thing, not an offensive thing, but it was pretty impressive. And
yeah,
one more
yeah.
impressive thing about him is he's waived his salary. Hajduk Split doesn't have to pay him anything. He just wants to play for his boyhood club.
But what about, are we paying his salary?
I don't think so. I think that he's just waived his salary for the next couple of months.
Well, that's sweet of him. What a nice guy. I mean, he's won a lot of things. He's gotten a lot of money throughout his career, very illustrious career. But yeah, joins HAJDUK Split on loan till the end of the season. Returns to his Croatian club after 17 years. Isn't that nice? Little bookend to bookend. He can have a nice, kind of like another guy who's having quite a nice little bookmark ending that Tottenham Hotspur fans may remember. And when I say may remember, it's undoubtable that you would remember this gentleman right here. Toby Alderweireld has been awarded the Gouden Schoen for the best player in the Belgian league in 2023. So he won player of the league. They won the league on the last game of the season, and I remember I think he scored it. It was something crazy. And so what a guy. What a guy,
Yeah,
kissing a
and
golden boot. Best
we need
player.
someone like Toby. That pinpoint pass that he would do to the wingers. My
You know who
God,
does
it's
that
just
now?
a thing of beauty. Romero can do that as well to some
That's what,
extent.
hey, you knew where I was going. Kuti, kuti, kuti. Can't you see? Yes, of course. He can do that. What can he do?
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
thing of
I think
beauty to
that
see,
he
though.
gives us that passing out the back as well. If you remember, there's a lot of highlights that came out of United where Kuti was sending some nice things through, you know.
Yeah, I
So anyone who
genuinely
doesn't
think
like
that's
it, there you go.
when he plays for 90 minutes, we always look like a better team, not because of just his defensive ability, but his distribution and passing. I think that's what we miss. We could have any sort of center back play there. We could have a number of defensively solid center backs play there. But what QT does for us is that distribution. He's almost a CDM. Like, I reckon if we had to play him as a CDM some game, he could probably do it because he's so good at passing.
Very good point there. I was on mute, so apologies about that. Yes, David Shear Basuma has malaria. He had it before the match as well, and then he played 50-something minutes. So he played a football match with malaria. Him and another teammate had it. So that's
Yeah, I must say this. I have beef with mosquitoes. Okay, the way Jacob has beef with seagulls, I have beef with mosquitoes. I have had malaria twice. It is not pleasant, and I feel bad for Bisuma.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You've had
it's not
malaria twice?
yeah, because in India it's quite common. It's like getting a bad case of the flu. But like so for Bisuma also it'll probably be common because in a lot of African countries it's pretty common. But the thing about malaria is that even after you recover, it takes you so long. And he had like long COVID and other stuff happening to him. So I have a feeling that even though he might recover in like a week or two, he'll probably like take a little while to like get up to speed. And so death to all mosquitoes. I like whatever you need. Like I don't care if we have a giant mosquito genocide. It like make that happen. World Health Organization, you can do this. Death to mosquitoes. Sorry.
You know, I support death to mosquitoes, but there's a video you said you mentioned seagulls, and there's a video that I got sent. Let me see if I can share it. It kind of looks like shit, so I'm not going to share it. I'm going to just show it on my phone. It's basically just a guy flipping off a bunch of seagulls, and I kind of like it. I'm going to download it, and I'll make it a clip, and we'll save it. I just don't want to play the music. See, he's like, here, you want some bread? And he's like, there you go. There's a middle finger for you. So that's the energy I keep with the seagulls. You already know. So I hate mosquitoes. I've always hated mosquitoes as well. So fuck the mosquitoes. While we're talking about AFCON, a great little transition here. Papa Matisar did play today in Senegal's win over... Fuck, I forgot who it was. It's Cameroon. That's who it was. Cameroon, where Andre Onana plays. That's who.
Onana, yes. The Onana who didn't go back for national duty because he wanted to suck with United for another game. So hold that, Onana.
Hold that, Onana. I wish I could play a little Rihanna song right now for you, or Neo. Those would be two very good ones. Onana. But there you are. But let me hide this comment. Papa Matisar got an assist today for Senegal. So there's some numbers here from his performance. I was watching the match. I watched the second half, and then until he got subbed out, then I stopped watching. But pretty good passing, some clearances, some interceptions. He was playing a role similar to the sixth role that we ask him to play here at Tottenham. Not as going forward unless they're on set pieces, but I thought, you know what? He looked like he was doing very good. He was impacting the match. I think Senegal, for the most part, were in control of that too. Got a super chat rolling in here. Fifth Elemento says, the only thing I remembered from Dyer is when he left the pitch to take a shit. Lest we forget his man of the match performance in the Carabao Cup versus Chelsea. And then we went to penalties and we won on penalties. Very nice.
Yeah, you know the funniest thing about that was not Dyer going to like the bathroom. It was Jose Mourinho following him in to the dressing room.
He's like running in after him. Yeah. And then he comes stomping back, and then out comes Dyer later. Yeah, it was one of those things. I'm like, I've never seen this happen before. What's going on here? So that's kind of fun. But there we are, which leads us into... Thank you, Fifth Elemento, for the $5 dono to the channel, by the way. Thank you so much. So I did want to go through this, and it is a nice little thread here from... Here, let me show you there's their Twitter name right there. All right. Amirhan, EK Scouting. It is a Twitter account dedicated to scouting, like young, analyzing and going in depth about young players and their prospects and such. And since we were linked with Club Bruges' young man, he went ahead and did the same thing here. So I want to go through some of this here. And my brother says, do you think MLS will grow with all the big names going to Miami? I think MLS is slightly doomed from the start with the lack of relegation and promotion, the respect isn't going to be there from the players or from a lot of global fans, because a lot of global fans view the aspect of that it's just you can go there and you can suck and it doesn't matter because you're not going to get relegated. You're not going to lose money. In MLS, they do a thing where everyone gets a piece of the pie. And now since Messi's in Miami, he gets a piece of the pie. So whenever people tune in to watch FC Dallas play FC Cincinnati, Lionel Messi gets a percentage of that. It's quite hilarious where it's at. I don't think I think it will get more attention, but if that leads to growth, I don't know, but it will definitely get more attention. You know, Gareth Bale went there, it brought some attention. He ended up winning a trophy in his lone season, and then he dipped. And Lionel Messi came in through halfway through the season. You know, I just think players and kind of the global perspective of MLS will be suffering as long as there's no promotion and relegation. Once you do that, now there's skin in the game. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, I think the point of having a top league is that you're funneling up. So there has to be local grassroots participation. There has to be like a league below it. There has to be relegation and promotion, because otherwise, why would the locals be invested in your league? I'm guessing with a lot of other US sports, even though there's no promotion relegation, there's a lot of local investment already in their team, whether it's in high school football or college football or playing in the professional leagues. So there's always like that local investment in our homeboy, our schoolboy playing this game here, and that's what it was like in England as well, like with football. Now football's not so sorry soccer for America isn't that sport, right? It's like the third or fourth sport most popular sport. So
It has been
get
climbing the ranks as of lately. When I worked for FC Dallas, I believe they were like the number 6 sport in America. And then throughout since 2019 to now, which when I started working for FC Dallas, Zlatan was in the league, so he was a big get. But again, when you get these big
also
names at the end of their
it's
career,
like,
it brings eyes and attention. But I don't know if it necessarily leads to growth, because when he left, a lot of Zlatan fans did too. So
Yeah,
what were
exactly.
you gonna say, Ash?
Like if it's dependent on Zlatan, you only support as long as Zlatan is there or Messi is there. But if it's a local homegrown support, like no matter if Kane leaves or stays in Spurs supporters will still support Spurs, and that only comes through when there's a system of promotion and relegation or a historical connection, the way the football team, like the American
Yeah.
football team. So
And another thing, whenever I did work for FC Dallas, it was the first year of USL League One. So basically they mirrored the structure of English football, which was you have League Two, League One, Championship, and then the main thing. MLS has that. It's USL Championship, USL League One, and USL League Two. The problem is the owners of FC Dallas own a team in USL League Championship. And so like when owners own 2-3 clubs throughout this little pyramid, they don't want this club getting promoted and then playing their other club. That's kind of what their defense of it is. But either way, I see it like that's just excuses at this point. We should be to a level where if you want to get that respect, if you want to continue growth, I think they're also hinging a lot on when the World Cup is played here in the States and in Canada and Mexico.
I think that will help. And I also think that it would be great to have the US on board as a serious footballing nation, simply because there's a lot of prospects here, there's a lot of money here, the facilities are good, so they can produce a lot of players. They just need that just like one tier up, like they just need to be pushed that final bit. So I do think that it would be good for the world if the US can play football.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But big up my brother. Been here the entirety of the show. And so has over 150 of y'all. So make sure you are hitting a like and subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, in which Ash you can find more of at Talking Ball. It is in the description of this video. Make sure you are subscribed to that channel as well. But look, Ash, let's run through some of these things, and there's quite a bit, but you know, we'll breeze through some of the not so interesting stuff. So this is a in-depth look at this guy Joe Leone. You're not going to derail me, Joe Leone. He says we're both waffling. I've done some admin work, had a shower and dinner, and tuned back to see if any real discussion has taken place. Still waffle. Well,
Joe Leon, I'm glad you've been productive with your time. So big up to you for that. But you're still here, aren't you? You're still commenting. So clearly we're saying something that's entertaining you.
I have actually a video Joe Leone sent me. He said, "Look, this is how hard I can hit when I go into the chat."
Ow! Big man, you're done out here.
You're done out here, my friend. Keep on swinging. Keep on swinging, and I'll tell you.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
There we are. Hold that, my friend. But look, let's take a look at Antonio Nusa, shall we? Yeah, I was just reading what my brother said. It is kind of weird. But look, Antonio Nusa, 18 years old, Norway left wing, plays for Club Bruges. We went through all this, right? We went through all this on the stream we did earlier in the week. His numbers so far, well, this isn't a very good view because my layout is not the greatest at this juncture right here. But as far as goals and assists for all of his national caps for the U19s, U21s, U18s, and the Norway national team, Club Brugge, sub-21 and 19 as well. 18 goals, 9 assists, and 115 appearances. So make of that what you will. I don't know how relevant that is, but look, it goes on to talk about he started off at Langus, then he made his move to Stabæk. I don't know how you say that, but he moved there. Got his opportunity to play. In the Champions League debut, he scored a goal in a 4-0 away win at FC Porto. So ain't that quite nice? Big up my brother.
Second youngest scorer in the Champions League ever. Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Always good. Look at that. I even made him a moderator. I think that was the first time he's ever been here. So big up my brother. But look, he scored in his Champions League debut. Youngest, you say, Ash. I didn't even know that. Ain't that quite nice? He became the youngest at that time, but then I think someone else did it. Look at him. Look at that kid. Don't you want to sign that kid up? Don't you think he got some potential here?
Isn't that adorable?
Yeah. Now in his international career, it goes on to talk about a match against France where he scored the game-winning goal 2-1. Didn't stop there. In August 2023, he received his first call-up to the Norway senior team. In his debut match against Jordan, he not only made his presence known, but also scored his first international goal for Norway, playing alongside the likes of Erling Haaland. So isn't that kind of cool? His achievements thus far in his career, one-time Belgian champion and one-time Belgian Super Cup winner. So he's got trophies to his name, and ain't that kind of sweet? Don't we need some of that? Don't we?
Yeah, the best thing I like about him, I mean, I've only seen the comp stuff, so I'm not the best judge as of now. But the best thing I like about him is that he takes on his defender, and we need a player like that. We have a lot of players who either just cut back or pass backwards, or there are not a lot of them who just take on their defender. And I think that we need someone like that who takes them on and then gets past them. So I feel like that's an essential skill for a winger. So hopefully he'll bring that for us. Of course, he's coming in the summer, so it'll be for next season. But we'll get him when we get him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, like, I've barely kept up with him since the summer. I've not been like, oh, I've followed this guy's career extensively. But for me, I really just every time I've seen him, he just looks comfortable with the ball. And at times during this season, it looks like our wingers haven't been, or there's been reluctancy to really take your man on when you have the ball. And You know, again, a different league, different flow, different speed, different physicality, but at the same time, there are intangibles when it comes to watching a winger, watching a predominantly possessive style player. So for me, I think he exhibits a lot of really positive things. And he's on a lot of big clubs' radars as well. There's been a lot of talk going around, Ash, today that Chelsea have been looking at him, Liverpool and City have been looking at him. And then a couple Serie A teams have been looking at him. So if we're able to secure this deal, and if part of it is not having him for 6 months, but that means one, that he doesn't cost as much in the summer, and then two, that we're able to lure him before the other clubs are in for him. I think that's a cheeky bit of business, because if we did the whole let's wait and see, you might find, well, actually, if we did do the wait and see, then technically I don't think he would be able to qualify as a homegrown in 2 years' time. So I think what it is we want to do it this January, because if he does, because then that 6 months that he's loaned out counts as hours. So I think that's part of it, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to get it done this January, I think.
It's best to move quickly on these things, because when a lot of big clubs come calling, then it becomes the price rises. So even if we do get him, we pay a little bit more then. So I do think that like with FFP and everything, it's best to get them when they're slightly cheaper. And with the data science stuff that everyone seems to be now doing, we're all sort of looking at a similar pool, because the metrics are the same for everyone. The programs and the software that they use doesn't change too much. So in the end, it sort of like pops up the same players, which is why I think there was so much like rush to get Dragushin in, and the same with Van der Ven. There were a few links. So I think that just happens with everyone sort of following a similar model. We got to do it faster.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And big up Talk, a Liverpool fan here, says, I live in Belgium and I watched him once from the stands. He's decent. Then he goes on to say Spurs quality, let's say. But I will say this as well, Taka. Liverpool fans said that about Mickey Van de Ven when y'all passed up on him, and then we scooped him up. We said, don't worry, boo. I got you. You need a ride? You can ride with us. And they all said, yeah, he's just not Liverpool quality yet. And when we got him, it's okay, yeah, he's probably Spurs quality. But now, he looks quite nice. People talking to him a little bit nicer. I'm going to say this. When it comes to Liverpool passing up on our players, you're clever, You're clever. Keep passing up on them. Let us get them.
Yeah.
I thought you fucker. But you clever fucker.
Sorry, what were you going to say there, Ash?
Yeah, I was just saying that, Taka, I hate to diss on a Naruto fan. I love your display picture, but yeah, you're wrong. That's all I say on it.
Yeah, hold that.
Long may Liverpool be wrong. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Shout out Joel Matip every single time. Mark Cook says the kid Nusa has one thing on his mind, which is to attack his man. He has great numbers and he's good on the eye test too. Again, that's what I said. Like, I can look into him from I've done many amateur scouting reports here on these Untitled series episodes, which again, welcome to episode 137 if you're still rocking with us on this Friday night. But I did look into, and it's like, okay, all the numbers look great, but still there is the eye test. I do believe stats tell you half of the story and your eyes are going to tell you the other half. And that's why they work so well together. I don't know why everyone wants to separate the two. Why can't we bring them together? Because when they're together, it tells you such a beautiful story. And I think when I watch Antonio Nusa, like I've mentioned before on this show and on the show in which we did the amateur scouting report on him, I said that I like this kid when he has the ball at his feet. He glides past his man. It don't matter if it's one man, two man. He'll go between, around, dip, dive. Treat him like I treated my brother at the park in Southern California. Scoot. Miss me with that. So, if you can pass both the eye and the stats test, which there are some stats here I want to look at in regards to Antonio Nusa, says what makes him unpredictable is his ability to either cut inside from the right wing or make dynamic runs down the line. When he takes on players, he's able to fool his marker and find openings to exploit with his speed. Now, in the numbers, as far as shot shots taken per 90 minutes. He is in the 90th percentile for shots taken and for shots on target. He ain't just shooting at the moon, baby. He's shooting at you. And that means, and you being the goal, the net. So he's taking the shots, and by God, they are on target. Can I get some fireworks? Oh, yes. He's in the 88th percentile for shots off target. That would make sense correlating with shots taken. Hit the woodwork 4 times. He's in the 99th percentile. He hit in the woodwork, which is something we do often as well, Ash. But also, I would say the woodwork has saved us a few times versus opponents. There's been quite a bit shots that go off the post.
You know, the funny thing is, in the United match, considering that sides changed at halftime, it was the same woodwork that stopped both the Udogi goal and the Romero goal. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it was.
It was the same goalpost. That's right. No, wait.
No, wait.
No, because Udogi's was on our right side, and the Christian Romero header was on the left side.
Oh, yes, yes.
From the broadcast angle.
But woodwork doing its job, 12th man in the house.
Yeah, there was. I think it was Bournemouth. Solanke shot it, and it hit both of the posts and went out. I've never seen that.
I went like this and then like this and then went out. It was
boom, boom. Yeah, it was crazy. I love it. Hey, shout out the woodwork. 12th man coming in clutch this season. Again, you need everybody working. You need everybody on all cylinders.
Yeah, gotta train those woodwork at Hotspur Stadium. They gotta do their job.
Yeah. Carnivore says Nusa's a great talent. Watched the kid for 3 seasons. For 3 seasons when he was 15. You watched him. Wow.
Carnivore, you should be a scout.
Yeah, if you're watching him from... come on now. Where is it? Here's 3 of 3 on his style of play. Goes on to say that once he sees separation, he's quick to put his teammates into action. This is again per this person. This isn't my tweet. This isn't my thread. But this is some stuff that they've put together. It says I'm Norwegian. Well, there you go. I trust your opinion, my friend. Big up Carnivore. So when you look at goals scored in the 80th percentile and goal involvement, 89th percentile. So when I look at this, his XG, which I don't like XG, I don't like expected anything, because when I was a kid, if you expected something out of me, you ain't gonna get it. I'm gonna give you the opposite, because you expected something. Well, guess what? I'm flipping it and reversing it. Shout out to Missy Elliott. But look, his XG is 0.24 and his goals scored is 0.26. So that tells me he's doing what Heung-min Son does, which is outscore your XG. Which, I don't like XG. I don't know what the fuck it has to do with anything. Wow. What a fraud. He comes in here and says, hi, Ash, but not hi, Jacob? But not hi, Jacob.
That sometimes he just likes to wind people up. Like he come on Alan's show and say hi, Ash, as well. I think it's just to wind Alan up.
Look, it's raining now. That's how you make me feel. Hold that. Yeah, I don't know how they get that either. Big up King Jacob. Appreciate that. Hey, there he is. You know,
that's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
Yes, sir. What were we gonna say, Ash?
No, I was just saying, like, it's not just he's outperforming his XG, but what the previous table combined with the XG stats tells me is that he's never afraid to take a shot, and because that's the only way you outperform your XG. It's when you do unlikely scoring, because XG is not how much you score; it's the quality of the shot. So that means that he's scoring in places where it's difficult to score as well. So those two things combined, the number of shots he's taken plus the outperforming of the XG, tells me that there's a really good player there. But I mean, this is also, you're also playing in a lower league, so we have to see how this converts to the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's 18 years old in a Belgian league. I would naturally expect it to take some time before we really started to see the best out of this. But it goes on to say, when you look at his heat map, it's clear this left wing position is kind of where they play him at. It says it's where he's the most comfortable. Really hugs that touch line there. And these areas that are red on this heat map, this is why I wanted to talk about this for a second, because the areas that are red is the areas in which I was screaming at Tony, at Timo to run at. Timo Werner, run, sir. You have the ball. Run forward. I begged and I pleaded all first half. But look, looks like a guy that's willing to hug that byline and run at him, especially by all the compilations too as well. Good morning, AJ. Says good morning, Ash, and good morning, Jacob. Good morning to you, AJ. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning, AJ.
KDB came from the Belgian league. Hey.
No, we've had so many good players from the Belgium league. I mean, they had that golden generation, of course. So there was Hazard and KDB in the Premier League, and for us there was Toby and Jan and Dembele. So we've actually had a really good experience with the Belgian league. So. Or just Belgian players in general. So I have a lot of faith in Belgian players. Their country has ruined their golden generation, but the talent that comes out of Belgium is still like world class. It can be.
Yeah. Well, hey, the thing is, I don't need Belgium to give us finished products. When have we ever really splashed the cash? Maddison was a finished product, but we didn't splash the cash. We sent winks the other way, ostensibly making Maddison's deal worth $35 million, in my opinion. Yeah.
I don't think we didn't have a lot of finished products. I can't think of any that play for the. Ideally, Bissouma should have been a finished product in the sense that he's been playing for a while in the Premier League and he should have come to us fully ready to go. But his Spurs journey has also been really complicated, so I can't really say what happened to that. But I think Ndombele was signed as a finished product, so to speak, because he was tearing it up in Lyon. But unfortunately, our record on finished products is not that great.
Speaking of Lyon, they grabbed my summer want, which was Gift Orban. They signed him up. It'll be interesting to see if that guy will have, get some juice out of the squeeze there.
I'm so glad we didn't sign him. I think we kind of.
A lot of people feel like that, Ash. I think I know what you're trying to say, that like maybe we potentially dodged a bullet. And I would say that you're going to be right until what I think is going to happen. And this is my hypothesis here, Ash. Now, we agreed to personal terms with him, but it fell through. For me, I'm looking at it from his perspective. He's 20 years old, 21, and he's playing in a lower league. He has dreams and aspirations of playing in the top league. His agent says, hey, Tottenham wants you. They're offering this on the table. We end up working out the deal. He was like, yes, let's sign. He wants it. Now we just got to work with the club side. They wanted $30 million and they were unwilling to move. They said $30 million. We said, how about 20? You know how we like to play ball, Ash. How much you want? We'll offer 50% of that, and then we'll work on meeting somewhere in the middle. So we did our dance with them, and we went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And this kid the whole time just waiting. And eventually he starts the season where he didn't expect to be starting mentally. And then he started not performing as well. And I think that that's a natural human thing that could happen when you have your mind set on something that doesn't necessarily work out. Now, what's going to be interesting is I think in 2 years' time, he's going to be sold for 60, 70 million to a bigger club. I don't think that I was wrong all summer by saying he fits these kinds of profiles. Now, if he goes to the French league and tears it up, I'm not even saying that we should go for him. I think the ship has sailed in that regard for Tottenham. But as far as the player, the profile of Gift Orban, I 100% believe that he'll be sold for 60, 70 million in about 2 years' time. Just watch this space. If in 2 years' time, come back to this video. But I have a little bit of PTSD buying players from Lyon personally.
Yeah. I mean, like the French league has given the Premier League some amazing players. But with Tottenham, the French players, we've had Aurier, we've had Ndombele, and there are a lot of Spurs fans who rate Musa Sissoko, but I'm not personally that big a fan. So we've had some tough luck with the French players. Of course, there's always Hugo who gave us 8 years of good service and 2 or 3 years of whatever. But I'm a little suspect on the French league in general. Oh yeah, there was David Ginola. Thank you, Alan. So like the past French players have been really amazing for like the Premier League in general. But I would say this current crop, we've seen some duds in there. Although I hate calling players that, I do think Orban under Ange would have performed really well. I think that would have suited him more to play under Ange, and he would have learned a lot more with learning off of people like Sonny. So I do think he would have improved, and perhaps we needed a forward. There were times when we were injured, and with Solomon gone and Sonny gone for the Asian Cup, we could have used someone like Gift Orban, but you don't always
Yeah,
get what you want.
I also trust the fact that we were aware that they were shopping this guy at a discounted rate, and we still said, "Nah, we're good," because I guess
Yeah.
we've moved on in our plans, and I'm perfectly fine accepting and trusting that this new way of scouting and approaching players, like I'm fine trusting that that's going to end up working, because look, it has led us to Destiny Udogi, it's led us to Vicario, it's led us to Van de Veen, it's led us to Pedro Porro,
Sar.
now Sar. Now, if Brennan Johnson comes good or not, that's another story. There is another thing that I do want to talk about before the show ends here, and we can keep going on Antonio Nusa here, but you know what? I'm going to move on just a little bit, because there's something else that I kind of want to talk about that I think is a big talking point, which is Brennan Johnson. Hey, big up Medeiros. Scooby. I would say this Brennan Johnson thing, he's been coming under a lot of duress, shall we say. He's now limited all comments on his social media, which is something that has happened before with players for Tottenham Hotspur. When they're not performing, I guess, to fans' expectations, they start berating the comments, the DMs, with not nice things. Now, we've seen Richarlison do it. We've seen Pedro Porro do it last year when fans were upset with him as well. Ash, let me just ask you from a footballing perspective, since we've signed him, Brennan Johnson, what has your opinion been on him? Have you been disappointed? Have you expected more? Are you willing to be patient? Where do you kind of lie with the Brennan Johnson discussion?
I have expected more, because he was, I think he was the worst player on the pitch for United. But I will say it's not Brennan Johnson's fault that he's playing badly. When a young player comes into a big club, and I'd like to think that we're a bigger club than Forest. I what I want the manager to do, and what Ange ideally would have done if we had the depth, was that you make the young player prove that they should start in the team. The starting place should not be a given. So, he works himself into the team. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, super sub, 15, 20 minutes. And then, as he learns his craft from the other wingers, from Richie, from Sonny, from all these forwards, he would work himself into it and deserve his spot in the team. And that gives you confidence as a player as well, that I deserve to be here. When you don't go through that process and you're played because we have so many injuries and lack of depth, then what happens is that there's so much pressure on you when you're starting in big games like Arsenal, and like this United game. Then it just puts a lot of pressure on a young player that unnecessarily. I do think that players like Johnson have to work themselves into the team. So we need to work out a system where we have enough depth that we don't put that sort of pressure on them. I still think he might come good, but I'm not holding my breath. I will give him till the end of the season. But he has some of the similar problems that Hill had, in the sense that he looks like he's a boy playing amongst men. He needs to take on his player mode. He needs to learn to be slightly more physical. and Kulusevski plays on that side. There is, Kulusevski is not good at some things as a right winger, but one thing he does know how to do is hold the ball well, and he's like strong and sturdy.
He's strong
So
in
that's
possession, yeah.
he can learn from Kulusevski. So I'd like to see Brennan work himself into the team rather than take his spot for granted.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the chat, see what y'all are saying about the Brennan Johnson thing, because honestly, this isn't something that one good performance, one bad performance will sway the jury here. This is let's see. Before I see what the chat says as well, there's something else that I found interesting to caveat. While watching the match, I get very frustrated at the decision making, but there is one thing that he continually does, which is he can get into that space. He does have the pace to get there, and it's like every other cross is good. So if he can tighten up the crossing, tighten up the decision making, know when the best time to shoot is versus shot is. It seems like when I want him to shoot, he passes it. When I want him to pass it, he takes an extra touch and then shoots it, and it gets blocked or it goes skied, or I get frustrated. So I understand fans that are very frustrated. However, to go on I will tell you this. Anyone who tunes into this channel knows how I felt about Eric Dyer, Harry Winks, etc. I was never in their comments or their DMs. Why? Why would I need to go there? How is this helping them any by me berating him where and hoping he sees it? Oh, you stupid fuck, you should do this. That I get the anger and frustration in the moment, like, because I get angry and frustrated sometimes when he does not the right thing. But he is a child. He is a young man. He wouldn't even have graduated college yet if he had gone to college and studied at a university. And you're right. I agree with you, Ash. He shouldn't be put in this position, but by hook or by crook and circumstance, he cost what he cost, which wasn't his fault. He came into a club that is needing a winger to get in behind. He should be able to fulfill that role. So I see both sides of the argument. Like, I do, but there's one thing that I do not agree with at all, which is, and no matter how much he frustrates you, going to his social and attacking him there isn't going to fucking make it better. Clearly he sees what y'all are saying, because he turned the comments off. So that way it was just not more hate, And I find it kind of fucking gross, honestly. Like with this Ndombele thing. Sorry, go ahead.
At the end of the day, he's a Spurs player. Like, he's wearing your shirt. So I don't care. Like, there can be good days, there can be bad days. I wouldn't, like, I can logically say that, oh, this person didn't play that well, or that person played really well. But, like, to hate them or insult them or to send, like, how horrible a human being do you have to be to take time out of your day to go on somebody, like, to DM someone personally about how bad their game was, or how shit you think they are. I mean, that just says more about you as a person than it does about them as players. So
I don't ever like writing off a player in the first 6 months of a tenure.
Yeah.
You can look at him and you can critique and say, I need him to do X, Y, and Z better. And I hope and I want him, and we need to demand that he gets to that level. And if he can't, then he needs to be rotated. And we all agree that it's not a matter of coddling a grown man in a sense. It's just a matter of, like, Son, when he first made the step up, regardless what you say of Nottingham Forest to Tottenham is a step up, like, in regards to pressure, in regards to expectations. And I think that from a perspective of, I look at Winger's first season, right now he has as many GA as Son did in the entirety of his first season. Now, I'm not saying that he needs to be compared to him on a level. Gareth Bale, same thing. He came from Southampton and we got him. And what were the expectations? Probably pretty low. But also at this time, players weren't worth 50 mil. But that's not Brennan Johnson's fault, the price tag. I sympathize, but it's not his fault. That's his agent working good. That's Nottingham Forest working good. And that was us in a panic mode. Now, I have heard the notion as well, Ash, and I want to ask you your thoughts on this. The notion that we only bought him because we had to get somebody and it was at the end of the window and he was our only option, as opposed to what Ainge has said, which was this was a guy he wanted from the beginning of summer, and that they finally got him through the line. Where do you sit with that?
I mean, if Ange, the whole integrity thing that Ange says that, are you doubting my integrity? Ange has said himself on his press conference that, yeah, we were in for him for a while, but it didn't happen. I don't remember the exact comments, but there were comments to that effect that we could only get it over the line in August. I think it was also because Forest was going through their own problems, and then Brentford made an offer to Johnson, and he didn't want to go to Brentford. He wanted to go to a top six club. That's when Spurs came in. That's the story, right? So I have a feeling it happened before August, and I think the deal just got done in August because we just we haggled and it was just delayed a little bit, and we're used to doing that. That's just our general protocol for clubs for like transfers. I do think that with Brennan Johnson, I don't think he was just a last minute buy. I do think that there was some thought that went into it. I think there might have been better players out there, but there was also an English tax because we wanted to get it. We needed a homegrown player, and so our pool was available, gettable homegrown players. And I think Johnson just fit that bill better than a lot of other players. So I would not say so. I think that there were very strict categories in which he was the first choice. But if we had to let go of those categories, obviously he would not be the best winger that we can get. Uh, but once he's our player, that once you put that jersey on, right, it has to be 100% support until the player does something so horrible, so egregious that you just can't support him anymore. Like for example, with Eric Dyer and that lot, we gave them many years. They've been here for 8 years, so it's very different to talk about Eric Dyer as somebody you want out of the club, and then to look at this young kid who's come in, whatever his price tag is, and be hard on him. We're not Chelsea fans. We can't what Chelsea fans did to Werner. He was tearing it up at Leipzig. The reason Werner failed at Chelsea is that Chelsea doesn't put any faith in their players. They just want them to be good from like day one, and that just makes so many players fail. Like think of the number of strikers that have failed at Chelsea. So do you really want to be a Chelsea fan? I hate Chelsea fans enough not to want to be a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would not want to be a Chelsea fan right now or ever. That's just my personal take. But anyone who is a Chelsea fan, you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. But look, I'm going to see what the chat says about this Brennan Johnson thing, see where everyone is. David Shear says he's our new Dyer. It's disgusting. Spurs side says, I really don't understand the Brennan Johnson hate. 4 assists, 1 goal. I think he has 5. No preseason. That's a good point. Carnivore says he needs at least 1 more season. That's a good point as well. Jay Coy says, I don't agree with fans attacking him on social media. However, he needs to pull his socks up and show that he's worth 50 mil.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree. But again, just like with Richarlison, not his fault, right? That's not his fault that the agent was able to finagle that kind of deal. So that's just kind of me. Bob Down Under says, don't like this Brennan Johnson hate. Probably a result of how Ainge has raised expectations of Spurs fans. Early days. Yes, early days. Taka coming in here saying Kulusevski is a unit. That Manchester City goal was madness. What I would say is Kulusevski's LeBron James.
LeBron James.
There you go. Love that LeBron James. Johnson needs to hit the weights. Get your money up, not your funny up. Bale didn't win for 25 games, says David Shear. That's a good point. Says this is typical of young players. Machiavelli says Breno is the new toy to shit on because Dyer's not here anymore. Interesting. That's now 2 people. Seems to be a little bit of a collective here saying that he's now our new scapegoat. Interesting.
Yeah,
Geez, 4 months in. Yeah, that's good.
He reminds me a little bit of Aaron Lennon, because he tries really hard, but it just doesn't work out for him because he just doesn't. He's not as positionally aware and he doesn't know where to go. So it feels like he's aimlessly passing or running or crossing. But that also comes with experience. Like, because Ange, I think there was this interview, post-game interview, in which I think it was Brennan Johnson who said that Ange says not to look before you pass, like when you're cutting back towards like a goal-scoring area. He says if you look, it gives the defender time to block it and to be in position. So the idea is to just blind pass it back and into a good area and hope that your teammate arrives. So I do think that, Sunny does that a lot better, because Sunny has a lot of awareness of how the game is being played, simply because he's so experienced. So with a little bit of experience, I think Brennan Johnson will get there as well. Not as good as Sunny, but he'll get there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is,
Well done, Daniel.
he might be able to get there. Big up, Daniel. One love, my friend. Big up, Medeiros. Real Madrid fans. Commiserations about yesterday. Atleti put that work on. Same fans abusing Ainge after Fulham. Good point there. Richie, 7 goals, 5 assists. Work rate unreal. Just a Harmless Potato says he's still a kid. Harry Kane was not the superstar he is now when he was 22. It's a very good point. 9 years. Carnivore says Twitter is a disgusting cesspool. It is pretty bad. It can be pretty bad. David Shear says just let the other clubs hate. And that's the thing, is I see rivals all the time talking about he's I think they say pants. I think that's a bad thing when they say someone is pants. So I've heard them say that he's pants, he's washed, that we got finessed, that we are this and that and the other. And I'm going to be honest. Let them hate. I've never gave a damn what anybody thinks about me and how I feel about my club. And at the end of the day, I'm so happy we signed Destiny Ugo to do a contract extension.
Destiny Adoji. Oh, yes. Oh, Destiny Adoji Day. Hey. Idiots, man.
I love that clip. It's my favorite clip of all the clips that you show. That has to be like the goal.
And that's the thing. Like, I tell people, rival fans, I say, you come in here, you could banter me all you want. I'm a tennis ball. However hard you hit me, I'm just going to bounce back. I'm coming right back at you. And, like, I'll lean into things. Like, you think it's silly that I celebrate my club extending a young prospect, the best left back in the league, and he's barely been playing in the league for fucking 20 games? I'm going to say I'm happy about that. And if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and honestly, do you really want to be watching your football miserable? Like, I would rather be celebrating all the things that you can celebrate.
Destiny Udogie Day every single day. It's actually Destiny Udogie year for the next 12 months, I'm saying. Hotspur says Brennan just needs to go and enjoy his football. He looks a little tight, not fluid. I do think he will shine in time. Werner, 2 training sessions, 1 assist. What a deal. Good call there. How can he enjoy his football? Look at the state of the fans. I mean, you're putting this man in a particular position to, some people say, like, for me, if you talk shit to me, I play better. When people say, oh, you're this, that, and the other, I like to prove them wrong. But I'm not Brennan Johnson. He seems a little bit more reserved than me. Maybe a person that you need to put an arm around and say, I believe in you, go and do your thing. Rather than saying, you're a punk ass, get better, get your money up, silly, like stuff like that. I don't know. Who knows how much that helps.
Because,
yeah.
And the thing you learn when you're teaching is that, especially this generation, they respond better to positive feedback. Like, it can still be critical. Like, you can still be like, oh, this is wrong, or you should do this better. But if you have like thousands of people you don't know hating on you online, that just, like, as fans, don't you want your players to do better? Like, I don't think insulting them makes anyone play better. Like, banter is different. Like, if someone bantered me, I'd be like pumped for the game. Like, if an Arsenal fan bantered me, but that's different. That's very different from like insult by your own fans, like from your own people. So I do think that, we should do better as fans.
It really be your own people is what I tried to say, but I was on mute. And that's the thing is, I never tell anyone how to support the club, how to support the players, how to feel about the club or the players. Only thing I would say is spreading hate is nasty. If you have that in your heart, seek help, find a hug, go out, touch grass, as the kids like to say, because honestly, like there's content creators and fans on Twitter. They just thrive off of being nasty, disgusting people, and it shows. And that's one thing that I would not like. As much as I like to joke around with, like we did earlier with Eric Dyer and his new accent, his new German English accent, it's kind of fun. But it actually turns out he's doing it to help the people who don't speak English as their first language, and that's something I didn't know that people who speak many languages do to help the others. But look, yeah, see, we learn, we grow. It's okay to poke fun and criticize and say Brennan has done this, this, and this bad. But to go to his comments and DMs, and that's the next level. To, like, I don't know. I don't think he has enough time to watch YouTube streams, so I don't think any content creators being nasty to him have, like, affected him. But yes, Epic John Joe, fans of other teams are allowed here. We talk about everybody here. Maybe a little bit not.
Sometimes Jacob even has fans of other teams on the show, so you should tune in more.
Yeah, hit a like and subscribe. Make sure you are following and all that fun stuff, because you are on the Twitch. So that means you are... oh, here we go. I think it's follow, I think is what it is. Look, the last thing I want to talk about real quick, we are over 2 hours on the show. Did not expect to go this long, but Ash, you are an extremely fantastic co-host, so you make it very easy. Where is it? I've got this. Look at this. James Maddison on Instagram. Heart eyes for what? Boots covered in grass. And this tells me, Ash, with my detective skills, in a week, we will have James Maddison back in the starting 11 to fortify us for Manchester City. Oh, yeah. Laser beams and shit.
I must say, Jacob, you are a regular Sherlock Holmes with that deduction skills. So that was so brilliant.
Hey, I'm just saying, you can give me my detective license after the show, whoever's watching. But look at that. There's grass. There's speckles of grass. This is grass. He's on the grass in the boots running around. So look, this tells me, Manchester City, you better be prepared for a long day, because you're getting a James Maddison back rearing and ready to go. Ash, the last thing I want to ask you. Go ahead. You're gonna talk shit?
What if they have
Please do.
We have James Maddison. We have our own creative midfielder. Yeah. So take that, City.
Yeah. See, they are hitting their stride, and a lot of people are getting a little bit more worried about it. And while I'm not gonna hide behind a thing that is eventually going to be broken, which is the they've never scored in our stadium curse. I think they will score in our stadium. I think that's coming, and it may be as soon as next weekend or the next time we play them in the Premier League when they come to town. I think I felt pretty confident that we will concede to them because of how we play now. Whereas before, when all the times that we've beaten them at our stadium, in our stadium specifically, we've always sat back, absorb pressure, and hit him on the counter. And when you hit him on a counter with Harry Kane, and you hit him on a counter with Heung-min Son, Heung-min Dad, Heung-min Hung, you might get more joy than if you're hitting them with possession style. You're meeting them out in the middle of the park, press for press, tit for tat. And I just think it's going to be one of those, I don't know if you watch a lot of combat sports, but it's going to be one of those matches where it's not necessarily a lot of the long game planning. It's going to be just swinging and swinging until you can't swing anymore, and someone's going to get knocked the fuck out. That's my prediction. Now, I don't know who, but with James Maddison back in the side, I absolutely feel more confident. Does James Maddison potentially being back in our starting 11, Ash, does that up your expectations of what we can do with Chelsea in the Cup coming up?
City in the Cup, you mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? Like I know the whole hasn't scored at our stadium thing is good banter, so it's fun to say it, even if they probably will. But I will say that, you know, I am a little tense without Sonny, because Sonny against City is inevitable, and I have to say, like, KDB is a cheat code. If you saw the game against Newcastle, it was like they were crap, and then he joined and then there was a goal and an assist. It was bang, bang, done. Game won. So I will say that, but he unfortunately KDB doesn't have anyone to serve. There's no Haaland there to score the goal, the final goal. So I do think we still have a chance. I really wish Sonny was playing, but I think with James Maddison there, little head action from Richie. If you can find his head, that'd be nice.
There we go.
So I feel like it could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it absolutely could happen. And this is the thing, is I give us a fighter's chance. And if you got, as long as you've got that, you have a chance. But look, this has been an absolute masterpiece, and a cinematic masterpiece, I would say, for myself and Ash this evening. So if you haven't hit a like already, we're over 2 hours into this show. Shirley, but don't call me Shirley. That's good enough for a like. But look, you don't have to hit a like. You can live the life you want to live. But we are going to leave it there. I have a redirect set up to some good friends of the channel, Bajan Reds. They are Liverpool fans, but they are really cool guys. And I'm thinking of what we should say when we go over there and rate them. I'm thinking shout out, or no, big up PGMOL, because they're Liverpool fans.
PGMOL.
Or big up PGMOL. Big up PGMOL. That's what we should go. So when we go raid Bajan Reds, I need y'all to put this in the tab. PGMOL. Wait, big up PGMOL. That's what we're going with. Big up. That's what we're going to write when we go on over there. Make sure you like and subscribe to them as well. Really good content creators over there. Going to have them on the channel when we play Liverpool next. I'll be over there as well. So make sure you do check them out. But Ash, thank you so much for being here. Everyone loved your input. You killed it. You're a rock star. Love to have you back ASAP. But when and where is the next time and place people can find you?
This week, I won't be doing much, but Friday on Talkin' Ball, Ellie and I will be doing a show together. So that'll be fun. So Wednesdays and Fridays on Talkin' Ball.
Wednesdays and Fridays at Talkin' Ball. It is in the description of this video. So if you're watching on playback, you can click it. You can find it there. Hit the notification here and there and everywhere, even in your underwear. But look, that's going to do it for episode 137 of the Untitled series, also known as the Immaculate series. Again, I have set up a redirect to some really good people. They are Liverpool fans, but we love them anyway. So go and show some support to content creators on this side of the pond. But it has been an absolute immaculate show. Let me end the poll and see what our final vote was. 45% of 205 votes says Antonio Nusa. I never heard of him before. And I kind of like that. I like it when my most clever answer choice is the most chosen choice, I should say. I'm fucking it up. My wife just turned off the light. That is time. We are calling it there. But big up, everybody. I need you to do a couple more things before you go on over to that redirect. I need you to do this. That is, stay blessed, every single one of you. Stay fresh. I need you to up the lads. And come on, you Spurs. You want to hit me with it, Ash?
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.